Hey guys, day number 4 of my extended fast, 4 out of 10. I had to pull out this shirt from my years as a sales representative in the beverage industry because I needed my spine, I needed my orange crush. Today was actually a tough day. There was a couple things that just happened today that hadn't happened or that I noticed today that I did not expect. I expected a day to be fairly easy. You know, typically by about day 4 in past fasts, I'm usually starting to feel pretty good. And when I woke up this morning, I thought, I'm there. It's all cherries from here on out. Because, you know, I felt really good when I woke up this morning, even though I woke up too early. But, you know, basically rundown of the day, my coffee and water consumption are the same. Rebecca asked in a comment about my supplements, or like the vitamins I take, and the truth is I take a daily multivitamin and vitamin C every day, you know, fast day or not. But on this extended fast, I continue to do that. I'm taking a multivitamin, vitamin C, and I am supplementing with a few electrolytes, potassium. I'm just using potassium chloride, no salt, it's called, brand name. I'm taking some potassium, I'm taking some pink Himalayan salt, just to get, especially because I exercised this morning, which I said I might do. And also magnesium, take a bath. I plan on either tonight or tomorrow taking a bath in Epsom salt just to kind of replenish the magnesium in my body. I did get up, I felt good when I woke up, so I went for a ruck and walked for about 2 miles. I was very careful not to open up my Fitness Pal. Normally I will track my mileage, I will track my pace, and I know that if I turn that on, I would be tempted to go too fast. I would be tempted to sort of watch the clock and worry about my heart rate and all kinds of stuff. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I just walked at a nice, easy pace. I would guess it was about a half hour. And then I came home and I lifted some weights and worked with the dumbbells a little bit, and felt pretty good. Got a shower, went to work, and got through my day. Someone said, you know, I drink coffee usually till about noon. I'll have about 4 cups of coffee a day. That's what's average for me. Someone commented today that coffee raises insulin, or that it might raise insulin. That could be true. But the studies are definitely inconclusive. Dr. Fung says you can have up to 6 cups of coffee a day. Almost no one restricts coffee. You know, there's maybe 1 or 2 doctors who say no, you just must have distilled water, and that's all you can have, little boy. That's all you can have, little girl, is your distilled water, pure water. Well, I'm a rebel anyway, so I'll tell you what. There's things I'm thinking about giving up. I'm thinking about, you know, going low carb. I'm thinking about giving up alcohol. I've already cut back on my sugar, and I'm thinking about ways that I can do that even more. There is one thing that I will never give up, and that is black coffee. I even gave up, in the past 6 months, I gave up the milk and the sugar that I always used to put in my coffee. And I love the coffee even more now that I'm drinking it black, that my taste buds got used to it. I will never give it up. I will die with it in my hands. So I just want you guys to know that. You don't need to ever disparage coffee in my comments, because coffee is just a magical thing. And the thing is, when they do studies on coffee and caffeine, they hardly ever, I mean, coffee is complicated, man. There's 600 compounds in coffee. You know what I mean? So, and the health benefits of coffee are proven. If it raises insulin a little bit, or there's even a possibility of it, it's something I'm just going to have to live with, because I can't live without coffee. I can't live without those magic beans. So that's settled. So yeah, I drank coffee, went to work, and felt good at work. I had a plan, you guys, to leave work by 11 or 12. That was really what was in my head. And at work, a sudden, you know, there was a sudden eruption of, all of a sudden they need Steve to do this, and he's, you know, this, and this. And so I ended up having to stay later than I thought. And as I stayed there, right about noon, This is why I say today was kind of a difficult day. Right about noon, I started to feel like just tired. Just like, oh, you know, just like dragging on. I stood up at the desk. I just tried to, you know, I swayed. You know, I listened to music a little bit. I was just trying to keep myself alive, you know, and man, I just felt so tired. And that's weird, you know, because I know I'm in ketosis. And so I was like, what is going on? And that feeling just sort of persisted, you know, and I got through the work, and then I had to run some more errands, but it upset me because my plan for today was to have a nice light day, because I knew that yesterday and today were not going to be easy. I didn't expect today to be harder than yesterday was, but it was. But once I got home about 6 o'clock, I took just a real brief nap, just a power nap, 15-20 minutes, and I feel great now. So that leads me to believe that the fatigue that I felt at work has nothing to do with fasting and a lot to do with the fact that I got up at 3:30 this morning. And that's a frequent thing for me, to have to get up and pee, you know, especially while I'm fasting, to taking in more liquids. So I have to pee more often. But I think I need to make a change with my phone. I need to move my phone. I can't have it on the nightstand, because I end up looking at it and then I start thinking about things I need to do, and then even if I set it back down, it's like hard to go back to sleep. So tonight I'm going to move it to the dresser. I'm going to put it out of reach and just see if I can get a good night's sleep, because that was the second night's sleep in a row that was just not adequate for me. And I know from past experience that sleep is tied to weight loss. It is tied to weight loss, because I worked for a year and a half. I worked overnights, and I also was an over-the-road trucker. If you don't know about over-the-road trucker schedules, they generally are just up, down, up, down. They drive when they have time, and you end up driving day and night and all kinds of stuff. You never get a regular sleep pattern, which is why drivers are tired all the time. And the net result of both working overnights and being an over-the-road trucker is I gained weight, but in both situations. And so just not having a routine or having interrupted sleep, I know that when I'm tired, I want to eat more. I'm more tempted to eat. And that came up as I rode down Main Street in one of the local towns, and all the Burger King was blowing its smoke, and Wendy's was blowing its smoke, and we have the thing called Zaxby's in the South that was blowing its barbecue smoke and all this stuff. And man, it was just, that's the first time I was really tempted, just because I felt so sluggish. And see, that's the thing. We're used to this idea, and it's subconscious for me. Most of the time it's just subconscious, that when we feel tired, we want to eat, because we know that the sugar, especially, and we want to eat junk, because the sugar and the carbs and all that stuff gives us a momentary rush. We feel that energy, and then the crash comes later. But really, so I resisted the temptation. I pushed back, and I didn't get any fast food. I didn't cheat. I didn't break the fast. And I'm glad. Came home, took a nap. I feel great now. I feel fine now. In terms of other physical things, it's funny. I've noticed my sense of smell is like really accentuated right now, and really heightened. And it's not just because I have huge nostrils that you could weed whack. It's an unusual thing. It's like I get last night I walked by this fruit bowl that's in our dining room, and I just smelled the apples. Like, I wasn't trying to smell the apples. I was just walking past, and I was like, and I went back for this big whiff, you know, because it smelled so good, so fragrant. I mean, when's the last time that I smelled apples? And I'm noticing that with a lot of things, like just corn or the fields or whatever. Like when I'm driving around, I'm like, man, it's like so strong. But then it's also true of negative smells, because when I picked up the boys from soccer, and they smelled like, they made the car smell like a giant armpit with like moldy feet. And it was nauseating, literally nauseating. I thought I was going to gag. It just smelled so bad. You know, I just tried to hide like that, you know. And the same thing happened. Somebody had an experiment, you know, like when old food gets pushed to the back of the refrigerator and you find it and it's got fuzz and it's moving and alive. That happened today, and my nose caught it, and it just, someone said it on the counter, and I was just walking by and my nose caught. I was just like, what's that stink? And so something's happening. I don't know. I haven't read about this, but I definitely have a heightened sense of smell, and that didn't help me when I was driving past all those fast food places. So there needs to be a bit of spine. There needs to be a bit of pushback a lot of times. And really, to be honest with you, except for the fatigue and the temptation that I had today, it's really not been that much worse than a bad day on ADF. There are bad days on any fasting regimen, I think. And because, as I was telling someone in a comment yesterday, fasting to me is 20% physical and 80% other. So in other words, you know, your mood, how much sleep you got, your emotional state, the stress that you're enduring at work or elsewhere, you know, the psychology of your mind, the psychology of your eating patterns, all those things sort of play in our fast. And so we have to be aware of them. And that's one great thing about fasting, is it does make you more aware of these things, you know, and it makes you more aware of, like, those fast food places that are pumping out all that smoke and putting up signs that say, you know, 3 burgers for $2 and all that stuff. Just, you're constantly being fed this idea that you must eat, you must eat, you must eat. And that's a part of it, you know, even that, if you're having a tough time, just to hear all those, it's not necessarily people, but it's signs and images and smells, and all these things are jumping out at you saying you must eat. And it's something you have to resist. And I've done that today. I'm proud of myself for getting through day 4, almost halfway. Tomorrow's halfway. And so that's what's been going on, you guys. It was a good day. It was not an easy day. It was the hardest day so far, but it was manageable for me. So I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you giving me thumbs up here and encouraging me, your encouraging comments. Eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow we fast. Have a good one.